Key Collector Comics is a free mobile app on Android and Apple. It focuses exclusively on key issue comics like first appearances and other milestone moments in comic history to help you identify what they are. Hey everybody, it's Nick with Key Collector Comics, and today we're going to talk about 90s gimmick covers, which many attribute to the collapse of comic books during the 90s because it wasn't about what was inside the book. It was about what was wrapped around the book. It was about marketing. Now, there were a number of reasons why the comic book industry collapsed in the 90s, and one of them was the gimmick covers, because when a publisher wanted to increase the sales volume in a book, they would put out one of these covers, and they would call it a collector's item, and the speculators would come out of the woodwork, and they would buy these thinking that this would be something of value in the future, but really there was so much supply that it would never have sustained value. Okay, so if the comic that started it all, the whole variant thing, is the Antichrist, then my friend, you are looking at the devil right now. Superman, Man of Steel #1 was the first intentional variant cover produced. Have you ever wondered what the first foil cover was? Well, its name is Rio, and it dances on the sand. But the first comic to really bring the foil and the embossment into the mainstream was Silver Surfer #50. It was an anniversary issue. And really, a lot of these don't have much value to them, but in the historical context, it's good to take a look at the origin of where these innovations began. There are some valuable errors, like the Silver Surfer, where the foil is missing from the figure or it's shifted off of the title a little bit. I've seen those go from anywhere from $50 to $100. Here's a spread of foil covers, and there's Wolverine looking like he's in desperate need for a bowl of water. The first cover, that's the standard one all the way to the left, and the silver foil variant next to it. It starts becoming valuable when we get into that second print gold claw variant. And then there's an error where the foil, again, did not make it onto the claws. I can't tell you how much it's worth, but I know that there's a significant value to that particular cover that has the error without any of the foil on it. You might see some flecks of silver foil, but it's the bone claw variant. There were a lot of variants to this issue, Wolverine 145. Here's another two. This Holo-Foil chrome on the left, and then there was a Nabisco mail-away offer for this one on the right, which is a cover by Bill Sienkiewicz, and it's incredible. But I just saw somebody had picked it up on eBay for about $40 when it goes for every other auction 10 times that. Here's the first glow-in-the-dark cover, Sandman Special. It just had some areas of glowing on it. You could kind of see it standing out with the eyes there. And let's look at what comics today are doing with this effect. Here's one from one of my favorite artists, Neil Adams. This is Deadman #1, and this is cool. There's a place for this stuff. There's a place for the experience of a cover that has something different about it. Shadow Man #1, Valiant did a nice job with this glow-in-the-dark cover. The one in the middle is Ghost Rider 15. It was hugely popular in the 90s. And then all these years later, there's Cosmic Ghost Rider still glowing. Here's one that I stumbled across recently, Scud #9. It's the first action figure cover, and it goes for about $30. So also keep a lookout for Scud #1 because that's a fairly valuable book. You see, this is what I do. I ferret this stuff out. I'm like the dog in Duck Hunt. I'm just going to go into the grass. I'm going to do some barking. And if you let it slip through your fingers, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to chuckle. You got to know Duck Hunt to realize that I'm not just being a jerk, okay? Here's the first die-cut cover. That's just me being cute. That's just a joke. That's a character named Die-Cut out of Marvel UK. I think it goes to show how confident Marvel UK was in this character because it says right there, guest starring Beast. I can see the CEO at Marvel UK was probably like, excuse me, but could we borrow Beast, please? Just kidding around. Just having a little fun. Here's the first real die-cut cover. It's Fantastic Four #358. Again, this isn't worth anything, but it's historical. The four is cut out, the shape of the four, and behind it is the blue background. First time Alicia Masters reveals herself as a Skrull. And some examples of die cut done right. Wolverine 50 with the claw marks through it. There's also that Batman 13 that has the Joker mask. And here is, to the right, is the die cut version of Amazing Spider-Man 400 that goes for about $170 if you get it graded 9.8 with CGC. So there's the difference between the two if you want to check your collection for that. The first hologram cover is Bafo Laughs, just by a small independent publisher, Paragraphics. The most valuable hologram cover that comes to mind is from Wolverine 75. It was an air version of this hologram that you see on the screen in blue. You can't even see a picture. So even though a lot of them have a sort of bluish, greenish look to it, this one you won't even be able to tell that there's a picture in it. That is the air version that you can keep an eye out for. Here are a couple others. X-Men 54. This goes for about $25. Graded at a high grade goes for a lot more, about $150. I had a couple nostalgia moments there just thinking about those old hologram cards. This is Howard Chaykin's Black Kiss. It's the first polybagged cover. I apologize about the picture, but boy howdy, you should see what's inside that comic book. Oh my. And here's the very famous X-Force #1, polybagged with a card in it. And this was part of the problem where people were buying X-Force #1 to read, and they were buying X-Force #1 to have a polybagged version so that because it was going to be worth a lot of money, and then there were different collector cards. So there was so much sales on these books that when people were hoping for it to become something valuable, and it just never did because there was so much of it, it just killed that entire group of speculators that were spending all this money on these comics. And then this Jim Lee cover also, while very cool and very innovative, this connecting cover, it was 6 issues. So if you wanted to create this entire picture, you had to buy 6 issues. Here's the first Chromium cover by Valiant in Bloodshot #1. Valiant did a lot of these different types of gimmicky issues. Image too. Here's Image getting in on the game with the first prismatic cover. And to wrap it all up, here is a clip of Dinesh Shamdasani where he's visiting a factory in Montreal, and this factory produced a lot of these 90s covers. They did the foil, they did the embossment. He was, at the time, doing the Quantum and Woody cover that was going to be the most variant cover of all time, and it was, because it incorporated all of these different elements like foil, die cut, embossment, glow in the dark. He actually sent me some covers, uncut covers, that were pulled from the process at different stages during them applying these different gimmicks. So this is just the plain one. There's nothing on it, no embossment, no foil. And then the next one is actually the die cut cover. I had the non-die cut with just the foil and the embossment, but I gave it away on Key Collector. I do a lot of giveaways on Key Collectors, so please download it. It's a free app. So there's the embossment, and there's where the goat took a bite out of the cover. And the goat actually glows in the dark on this cover right here. And finally, I just wanted to show you this Gatefold cover of Guy Gardner's Warrior Bar. So Guy Gardner bought a bar, he named it Warrior, and on opening night, he invited all these superheroes. I just think this is cool. Here are the doors, they open up, and there is everybody just going nuts. I don't see anybody with a drink in their hand, though. Okay, so thank you for watching. That's it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please download Key Collector Comics. It's a free mobile app. It'll make you an expert comic book collector in the time it takes to download an app. And let me know what you think of it or this video. You can reply, comment, or email me, Nick@keycollectorcomics.com.